We get here, we turn the other way. First try. Here we go.
This week, NBA star Kevin Love.
Any bigger chairs?
We spend a day in New York City, bouncing from the court to the gym.
What, should I tear my groin?
4.
To a stroll along the Hudson, eventually capping it off wine tasting with his better half, Sports Illustrated cover model Kate Bock.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. This is Kate. The finest wine here. Gets better with age. She's a great vintage, 88. Nice.
Inside his Manhattan apartment building, Love reflects on career challenges.
LeBron, hardest part of playing alongside him was what?
And he opens up about his lowest points grappling with depression.
A lot of times I feel like a fraud because I don't feel like I've achieved enough.
And that's where we begin, with an injury in 2012 that sent Love into a downward spiral.
And that season where you only played 18 games for the Timberwolves, you pretty much, as I understand it, locked yourself in your apartment, rarely came out of your bedroom.
It's just, that crutch of basketball was everything to me. That was my safe space. But this went on for months. You self-medicate, you drink, you treat your body terribly, you eat terribly, and you just pretty much do everything to harm or hurt yourself.
You're in your bedroom, blinds drawn a lot of the time, no TV, as you wrote. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, I think obviously, when you get to that point and it's day after day being the same, you come to a point where the darkest moments come into play and suicidal thoughts come into play, and you start planning it out and what would be the route you would take, and that is those are really scary moments in my life.
What were you going to do?
I had a number of ways. It's, the good thing that happens is when you do search that, it comes up with the National Suicide Prevention Line. There was a couple ways that I had toyed with, but it was just scary to get down that route and think about the idea of taking my own life. But it was, something that crossed my mind pretty often, especially when you're in a moment like that.
Did you ever attempt to?
No. Thankfully.
Does it ever get to a point anymore where you still have suicidal thoughts, or?
I think, listen, if you've been down that road, and I don't know how, if whoever's going to watch this who's had those thoughts before, I think it does cross your mind. And I've just learned to speak my truth, honestly. I've learned that, nothing haunts us like the things we don't say. So me keeping that in is actually more harmful.
The Love family has battled depression going back to the 1930s. Kevin, his dad, and his sister have all endured its challenges. And while the Cleveland Cav is now open about his struggles, there was a time he was terrified the world would find out.
November 2017, your panic attack. It's third quarter, timeout's called. Take me to that moment and what happened from there.
It was scary. I was just trying to catch my breath in a huddle. It's like I could look down and see my chest, like almost having convulsions, and I ended up on the floor of my head athletic trainer's, Steve Spiro, his office. I thought I was, really having, a cardiac episode and having a heart attack. I thought to myself, like, what the hell just happened then? Like, what's going on? I think that was the first time where I said, okay, I've put off getting help for so long. I've told very few people, what's been going on with me all these years. So, okay, now it's time to really consider the dude in the mirror and get some help.
When you were actually in that, were you concerned for your life?
Yes. It was just scary. I think the fact that it was such a public setting and I didn't want anybody to see, that's what really made it like something where it was almost like, I feel like I'm gonna die, and maybe if everybody's gonna find out, maybe it's not the worst thing. So it was like, as a man, these are things like I was taught or grew up, even outside of my family, you just did not expose. So, for these guys that are supposed to trust me day in and day out, if they know that I'm dealing with stuff in my brain and my mind every way, they're not gonna be able to trust me, and it's gonna affect my livelihood. There was so many things that were going through my brain at the time that I think even made it even worse.
To complete the 2019-20 season and protect players during the COVID-19 pandemic, the NBA isolated 22 of the 30 teams in Orlando in what became known as the bubble. The Cleveland Cavs failed to make the cut, so Kevin Love watched from home. How's the city different?
City's different just because it's a lot more calm. But again, the luxury that New York has is its New Yorkers. It's always been resilient. You talk about 2001, 2008, all the way till now, it's really been a special place. You turn the corner, right around the corner, you don't know what you're gonna get. There's gonna be a new adventure, something new. And occasionally you'll get that too.
Anybody that that was in the bubble, what have they told you in terms of what it was like?
I talked to a number of players, that was actually reaching out for help or, trying to get with the team therapist that everybody has on the team now. Yeah, it was, I'm struggling down here. Is there somebody that I can reach out to? Because they weren't able to even have family members until, I believe, 7 weeks in. And it's only one person. People miss their kids, not able to go home. Some people miss birth of a child.
Love was a key factor in the NBA Players Association developing a mental health program. He also established the Kevin Love Fund in 2018. It provides tools for physical and emotional well-being and is striving to reach 1 billion people in its first 5 years.
How satisfying is it to have found something that truly has the ability to become your legacy?
I mean, for me, it's hard to really conceptualize it right now. I'm just trying to make, as big an impact as I possibly can and make a footprint in this area, because I think more than any other time in human history, we're dealing with, it's truly a pandemic that, people are starting to talk about, but before this, nobody was really talking about. The isolation of COVID, all the unknown, all the uncertainty, that there's a lot of people that are struggling right now. I mean, I mentioned anxiety rates tripling from the second quarter of 2019 to 2020, as well as depression rates quadrupling, like that kind of stuff. When the future seems meek, I think that can put you down a very slippery slope. So it's going to be incredibly paramount and important, this work that we're doing at the fund, but also a number of people have come and done it before us. People will do it after us, but we want to make a major, major mark.
Love first became an advocate for mental health in wake of his 2017 panic attack, sharing his struggles in a Players Tribune essay.
While I didn't get into too much detail, I was still able to pull back a layer that I hadn't before and be vulnerable. That was probably the scariest part, but also the part that, took me out of the shadows. So part of, a lot of my therapy for me is really, writing things down, whether it be about mental health or otherwise, because I think the range and all of that can help be a major problem solver.
And you touched on some of that in your second article, which came out the week after my interview with Dak Prescott.
A couple of days before my brother passed, I would say I started experiencing depression.
What was it about what Dak said in the interview that resonated with you, because you came out and supported that on social?
Big time. I mean, he's stronger than ever for having done that. There's so many people that look up to him and look at him like a superhero. So for him to, allow himself to grieve and to be vulnerable, and I really meant what I said when I said he saved a lot of lives that day.
Why have you said one of the best days of your life happened after you started going through therapy?
Because now I get to be unapologetically myself. And I have these real flaws and these, things about myself that I'm not necessarily proud of, but I deal with on a daily basis. And, in playing all my cards, that was the scariest thing that I likely did in my life. I think that's just allowed me to be so comfortable in my own skin, and I got to be myself truly for the first time, probably in my entire life.
And you said even now, with all the work you've done the past couple of years, some days are still brutal
heavy,
for you.
Super brutal, yeah. Just because you don't get to choose when, you don't get to turn it on or turn it off. I've tried to connect a lot of dots looking back, and while, I've obviously have days that I really do struggle. I suffer a lot from imposter theory as well. Like I sometimes don't feel deserving. I don't feel like I'm worthy of what I've accomplished or the success I've had. And a lot of times I feel like a fraud because I don't feel like I've achieved enough. In moving forward, why that is painful, and those scars are there. They don't always fully heal. I think it's something that adds to the evolution, in a lot of ways makes you a better listener, makes you hear people out more, and just makes you more empathetic. Oh, yes, I'm sorry. This is Kate. The finest wine here. Gets better with age. She's a great vintage, 88. Nice.
All right, have you taught her any tricks?
Yeah, I mean, she heals really well. We shake, we paw. We still want to teach her bang. But she's just such a great duck. Off. We'll teach her that. We want to get her to roll. She's great.
Sports Illustrated or GQ?
Oh boy, GQ.
42 or 0?
42.
Beach Boys or Beatles?
Beach Boys.
Gold medal or NBA title?
Yes. I would say NBA title.
Win a close game or a nail biter?
The same thing. I like nail biter better.
Picked 5th overall by the Memphis Grizzlies in 2008 after a year of college, Kevin Love was then shipped to the Timberwolves on draft night. Following 6 seasons, Minnesota traded Love to Cleveland, where he helped the Cavs clinch their first ever NBA title. LeBron, hardest part of playing alongside him was what?
People laugh at me when I say it, but he just takes everybody, he's almost like a planet. He just takes everybody into his orbit. And that was something he knew that I was going to have to sacrifice. I didn't know what that meant when I got to Cleveland, but it was the best thing and best move that I ever made, was to be a part of something special. And while it seems so easy, it was tough for me to do, because I just I'd pass up open shots. I was overly critical of myself. I wasn't allowing myself to play my game.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at one point he calls you out on social, right?
Yeah, no, the only thing for me was, all I wanted was recognition that, hey, listen, guys, like, I'm sacrificing a lot here. Like, I gave up likely the most on the team to be here and try to win. All I want is just the recognition for that, and we can move on. I've gone from being a number one option, a guy that touched the ball, quite often, almost 20 shots a game, to then being really a floor spacer, a defensive rebounder. It was tough to accept, but for the greater good, I think that taught me so much. And in my evolution as not only a player but a person, I think it was huge for me. We were able to get the best out of each other, and we have the proof to show for it. We got a Larry O'Brien trophy and a ring.
When LeBron James bolted for Los Angeles in summer 2018, the Cavs went from a 50-win team to just 19 in each of the next 2 seasons. That offseason, Love signed a 4-year, $120 million extension to stay in Cleveland, but he's consistently been the topic of trade talks.
Why do you think you have not been traded?
It's been nonstop.
Since you got there.
Yeah, since I got there. So it's funny because I don't know. It's going to be even more harder now and more complex if the team was looking to move me, because we just don't know how the numbers are going to shake out. I think my number's high. I think I'm the oldest player on the team. I think the team wants to go young. I think that's a good reason for it. And then I also think I can add a ton of value as a shooting big, a guy that's just is, still a really great player, has a number of great years left.
Off the court, Love has gained an appreciation for art, curating a collection now displayed in his newly renovated Tribeca apartment.
We have Anthony Gormley, John Baltazari. I've always liked 80s contemporary artists.
Are there pieces that you don't have that are on the wish list?
Of course. I mean, there's You know, obviously like the Monets, the Picassos, Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat is somebody that I would always love to have because I love the street art component to it.
He's also a wine connoisseur, developing a love for it while traveling with the team. We joined him and his better half, model Kate Bock, for a tasting.
We're doing a slight tour of the world, I guess.
Oh, wait, and you have to introduce your significant other?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. This is Kate. The finest wine here. Gets better with age. She's a great vintage, 88. Nice.
Tell me about the St. Regis coffee date and what you remember from that.
Yeah, I'm like, damn. The St. Regis coffee date. That was,
Love at first sight?
I kind of think so. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say that because I don't think you can really love someone until you know them. But I feel like we were pretty into it. He missed his flight. That was a big sign.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just going to hop on the next one, and the rest was history.
Explain to me what I should be getting out of this.
I feel like you okay?
I just want to hear what you're going to say.
Like oak, tobacco, chocolate, dark chocolate.
Yeah, those are all kind of
This is going to be more, like, I would say tree fruits, a lot lighter, citrusy type of fruits.
So tell about the couples in quarantine video that you guys taped together.
The fake video that never happened. Yeah, I fully believed it. I mean, normally with Sports Illustrated, I've been doing that for 8 years, and I know typically like when it comes out, you kind of like wonder the week before, is it me? How are they gonna reveal it? It's always done in some sort of surprise way. But this year, because of COVID, everything was delayed. And I think we were meant to do a couples in quarantine interview. Yeah, but then you asked,
Is Kate Bock on the cover of Sports Illustrated?
Had no idea. And yeah, you gave me that cover, and that was a pretty cool moment. What is this? No way! Really? Really? You gave me
Yeah, so I would try throwing them off there. Okay, you need a little lift there.
Kevin Love's preparation starts here with trainer Mike Widengo, focusing on stretches and low-impact cardio.
And what difference have you noticed this making, Kevin?
Oh, it's been huge for me. You know, after even just a few workouts, Mike said, give me 3 weeks and you'll really be feeling back to normal. I mean, this is where you find out where some of your deficiencies lay, especially in those legs. Like my left is my primary jumping leg, and my right is where I do a lot of my jab work.
How has this impacted injuries?
Just a lot of range of motion. Like I said, waking up that central nervous system.
5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2.
That was quick.
1, up, down, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2. I'm counting for a reason.
What, should I tear my groin?
4, 3, 2, 3, up.
Following a few quick autographs, we made our way through New York City.
Give me some New York driving tips because...
Just move, and it's going to be minimal spacing. I mentioned basketball being a game of inches. This is kind of like, you see me just taking the middle of the lane here. Nobody's really going to honk at me. And
you feeling safe back there?
Take up space.
Oh, yeah.
So how much different is the traffic situation now relative to pre-COVID?
So much different. I would say it's a lot easier to move around here and a lot more fun to drive here when it's, you know, probably 30-40% less people.
Now established on the East Coast, Love grew up in the Pacific Northwest, just outside of Portland. His father, Stan, started the University of Oregon and played in the NBA for 4 seasons. He coached Kevin into a top high school recruit, only to see him attend conference rival UCLA.
What was he like as a coach?
I always wanted to play football when I was young. I was a big fan of the Niners, and in those early 90s, they were incredible. So he told me, you know, you're going to get in here in the paint, and this is going to be your football. Always play one-on-one. I was a guy that, you know, had the bad attitude, and I wouldn't say that. I was very competitive. Would kick the ball over the fence. I'm not playing with you anymore. You know, my dad was 6'9", and played in an era where they were extremely tough.
How about showing me a couple of the drills he used to put you through as a kid?
It's tough in the paint because you have a pretty face. You're made for the camera. So,
yeah, right.
You know, a lot of stuff he would just have me play with the ball, move over my head, jab step, and first shot on the camera showing you
putting it off the glass.
I was C team in 6th grade basketball. That's the extent of my
okay.
playing experience.
And what was your sport?
None.
None? Yeah, okay.
At all.
Okay, you need a little lift there. There it is.
How's the diet evolved over the years?
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you guys, I mean, you can fat shame me all you want. I was, you know, I had the chin strap beard. It was ugly. It looked like it was painted in. It's funny to look back and see that. And I was probably around 275, 280 pounds. Now at about 250, and I feel good. No dairy, you know, very low gluten, you know, things that your body's going to absorb fast, break down fast. Really, really low ingredient profile.
So there's some famous old YouTube trick shot videos of yours. You got any?
I like to think I can shoot at 94 feet. It is a little bit shorter, but I'm sure I could at least try. Oh. First try. There we go. I think we can end on that. That was a made-for-TV moment.